Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. This is the first in-person podcast, and we have Ashish here from Elastic. So let's enjoy the podcast.
Hey, thanks everyone, and thanks Tejas to having me today. Yeah, it's exciting time. I think for me, it's my first podcast, so
Mine as well, in
thanks.
person.
Yeah, thanks for having.
Okay, great. So Ashish, before going to the question and answers and a lot of discussion, let's have a brief intro about yourself. Like, what do you do? How do you
Yeah,
work in Elastic?
right.
And then we'll go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So I work as a senior developer advocate at Elastic, which means I handle the community in India, and I help developers. I take a question from the developer, any doubt any challenge they are facing to integrating Elastic stacks with their applications. I'm also active on a forums, like a official forum. So any question you're asking, yeah, I try to give answer over there. And yeah, I do the meetup conferences and now podcasts. So
Yeah.
happy to discuss about Elastic anytime about the technology. So yeah,
Great, great. And again, thanks for your time. Of course, we are going to have a blast of fun here.
yeah,
So we'll go with it. Elastic has been a part of part of interest for me for a while now,
hmm
and attending a lot of meetups. I am getting more and more curious about it, and that's why I reached out to you for this
yeah,
podcast. And I intend to give everyone the base. We'll have a base foundation of this, and that would help everyone to get started with Elastic. So can you give us a brief overview about Elasticsearch and its main functionalities?
All right, yeah, yeah. I think Elastic is uh, for search, right? So, I think Elastic is a pretty famous technology for the search, any search use case if you have. So Elastic has a capability to build it, right? So Elasticsearch is a search engine, basically, right? It's a search engine, but some people use for data stores, right? Because it has a capability like data management, right? We got a data TS, right?
Hmm.
So you can roll over your data from hot, warm, cold architecture, and yeah, you can run the powerful aggregations. You can deal with the geospatial data types. So it's a NoSQL data store,
Hmm.
and of course, it started as a search engine, right? So if you want to build a search engine for your product, it's like a central search. Just go for it. Just dump your data into Elasticsearch in NoSQL format,
Hmm.
and your data will be ready within a second for the real-time search. It's called a near real-time search
Hmm.
because there's a 1 second refresh interval, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Elastic is getting way ahead of just a search, I think, search engine
Yep.
for data, and we are going to see that how it is
Yes.
going in.
Yes.
So, what are the main core components of ELK stack, and how do they integrate with each other?
Uh, I think the ELK is the term ELK is a pretty famous than Elastic.
Elastic, yeah, it's true.
Because it's a very wide use case used by our community
Hmm.
and ELK and especially for the logs, right? The primary use case for the ELK was a log,
Logs.
where the Logstash is the ELK. The L stand for Logstash,
Hmm.
E for Elasticsearch, and K for Kibana, right?
Kibana.
So Logstash is people usually using for the reading logs from the file, your logging file. But to be honest, the Logstash is much more than that. It is
Okay.
it is basically the ETL tool. So
Hmm.
you give anything into input, transform the data, and push to your output, send to the
Output.
output. You can
Okay.
give the output anything. Probably, for
Hmm.
example, read data from MySQL,
Hmm.
do some data modification
Modification.
according to your use case and push into Elasticsearch or
Okay.
write into the file or push onto some REST API. That is all possible. So it is a
Okay.
ETL tool. So it's not just not for the logs.
Logs.
So yeah. So what you can do, set up the Logstash, give the input as a files log file,
Hmm.
transform the data and give the output into Elasticsearch. So
Hmm.
this is your data will transform and will push into Elasticsearch,
Elasticsearch.
right?
Okay.
And throughout the Kibana, you can visualize all the data which is presented into Elasticsearch, right? So
Okay.
Kibana is a visualization tool, but nowadays it is much more than that. It is not just just a tool which give you the charts graph, but it's become the admin panel as well,
Okay.
kind of,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
If you're an infra guy, you can monitor all those everything dashboard. You will get all server visibility. What is my resource utilization, hard disk, RAM, everything, right?
Everything. Hmm.
You will get it on a Kibana first. Second, you want to manage your indexes, right?
Hmm.
Which is a very integral part of Elasticsearch. Indexes, right?
Hmm.
You want to set up the ILM. You want to take a snapshot.
Hmm.
Everything is possible with a
Possible.
few clicks on a Kibana. So
Okay.
now it's not just a visualization tool, but it's become the control plane. You can say the control panel or admin panel for
Okay.
organization. Yeah.
So this is just out of
Yes.
a query that
Yeah.
I just now got based on what you answered. So Logstash, when you say that we are pushing in logs,
Hmm.
and then it kind of ETL tool.
Yeah.
So Kibana is also connecting to Logstash
So
to show the
Kibana,
data.
always connect data source to the Elasticsearch as
Okay,
Elasticsearch,
okay,
and it's only work on Elasticsearch,
okay,
right?
okay.
So, and whatever the data in Elasticsearch we have, you can query through the Kibana.
Kibana, okay,
You can create a charts, graph, dashboards over that data which is present into Elasticsearch,
okay.
which is being pushed by Logstash.
Logstash,
Correct.
okay,
So it's like it's kind of the flow. Your
okay.
data will start picking by Logstash. Logstash push into Elasticsearch, and you can check a dashboard and get a
Get it.
visibility or
Correct. Hmm.
of your data from throughout the Kibana.
Okay. So in my previous company, we used to use ELK very extensively.
Yeah.
So as you said, server resources are also being managed, and that is something that we also did.
Yes.
So making sure that servers are up and jobs are running.
Yeah.
So that's where one of the key reason why I got interested in ELK Elasticsearch. Moving on. So how does Elasticsearch handle large volumes of data and ensure high performance? So that is one of the thing that I think right now is a big concern for a lot of products, that we have lots of data coming in, and managing that data with keeping the performance intact is one of the issue right now.
Mm.
And I have seen that I think Elastic is doing it very well. One of the reason is vector dbs are something that is way before it was even famous. Right now,
Yeah.
because of rags and all,
Yes.
Elastic was using it.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the what I can say magic wand that Elastic is doing
Yeah.
to manage the large volumes of data and performance?
I think when you say the data management, and the three parameters we always measure as a platform, right? Which is the speed,
Hmm.
scale, and the relevance, right?
Correct.
So if I hit the query, and if I should get, I'm expecting my data within a second or few
Hmm.
seconds, right? So it's the speed, the scale. As my data grows, my platform should have a capability to scale that
Correct.
particular data,
Hmm.
right? Second, third is relevance. If I'm searching for a specific term, I
Hmm.
should get the relevant data only. It should not be irrelevant or mismatch or something like this,
Correct. Correct.
right? So so yeah, this is where the Elasticsearch comes in a picture. How it's solved is, of course, it maintains all those the
Hmm.
inverted index and for the quick search, for the fastened search, up, that helps to give the relevant result. This is the
Okay.
first. Second, the scale. The scale is, so Elasticsearch is a horizontal scalable. So as
Okay.
your data grow, you just keep adding the nodes, and
Hmm.
data will get distributed,
Distributed.
right?
Okay.
People just keep adding the node in your cluster, and you don't need to manually operate all those stuff, rollover and the sharding and everything.
Hmm.
Elasticsearch will take care of all those stuff.
Okay.
So you just add it, keep adding the node, it will distribute your data across the node. So when you hit the search query, it goes to the all data nodes, and it's gathered all
All the
data,
data. Hmm.
merge it, and it's give it to you. So
Okay.
this is the all happening on the parallel, right?
Parallel. Hmm.
So this is how it makes the faster. The inverted index is one of the reason. And you highlight the vector database. Yes. So we are in a Gen AI era these days, and the vector database is there for the quite long time in Elasticsearch, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yes, we have a vector DB capabilities, right? We just ingest your embeddings into Elasticsearch and perform the KN and ANN queries.
Hmm.
Uh, we having a proprietary model as well, the ELSER and all those stuff. But yeah, we we are we have a Gen AI. We are
Stack.
Gen AI ready. Yes.
That's coming up soon. So don't will not give spoilers to the
No.
audience. But I think yeah, in last meetup, Rishi mentioned that vector database was way before even it
Yes. Yes.
got into the
Yeah.
mouths of people due
Yeah.
to rags and all which
Yeah.
are coming up
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now. And I have seen that how you guys have implemented Gen AI. So we're going to discuss that in a minute. So one of the thing that I find very amazing is that uh, in this industry, like since Elastic is way ahead of just a search engine.
Yeah.
It's getting into logs, it's getting into metrics, it's getting into a lot of things. So to adapt any technology, we have a concern of what use case it can play. So what are the different use cases that you find for Elasticsearch?
So I think I would start with the search as the best use case. I mean,
Hmm.
you want to make a search for any use case. Let's say it's a catalog search, it's a product search, it's a full text search, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, for blog something we got a lot of testimonials available. People are using for a blog search, right? So yeah, you can use it for I mean, Elasticsearch is there. This is one of the primary use case. Second is some people are just using for data store.
Hmm.
Just turn off your index, so it won't index all data,
Hmm.
and you can perform the aggregations over it, right? The data histograms, geospatial search you can perform, right? The shape queries and all those stuff. Uh, After this, we have seen people are using Elasticsearch for a caching layer
Hmm.
because it's faster. So they cache their query result into Elasticsearch,
Okay.
and whenever the same queries comes, they hit Elasticsearch and get data
Yeah.
for it, right? This is one. Apart from this, we got a solutions, right? Like observability,
Hmm.
security. So in observability, whether you want to monitor the your infra,
Hmm.
your servers, your VMs,
Hmm.
whether you want to monitor the code with the Elastic APM, we got a uptime monitoring. We got a user profiling, right?
Hmm.
We got a universal profiling
Profile.
as well,
Hmm.
whether you want to track a user journey. Yes, all the use cases are possible with Elastic. So it's a part of the observability. Similarly, in the security, the C, EDR, XDR. If you have a such requirement, you can use the Elastic Security
Hmm.
as a solution. So yeah, this is how people are leveraging that, and there are many more cases which we have not covered. Yeah.
I think observability is going to play a key role in
Mm,
coming days,
mm.
and that's where Elastic is playing its bet. And I think it's going in a really good direction, considering observability has been becoming a very important part for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
So we'll go a little bit into details since we have discussed a lot about Logstash. What are the other integration components other than Logstash that you can
Okay.
put light on?
Yeah. So Logstash is there as a ETL tool. We got a beats.
Hmm.
Okay. So for a different purpose, we having a different beats available.
Hmm.
So suppose you want to collect the network data. So we got a packet beat. You want to read a logs from the file. We got a file beat,
Okay.
right? To collect the metrics, we got a metric beat.
Okay.
So this is how you can leverage the different beats with the different purposes. Now we got Elastic Agents,
Hmm.
which is collection of all the integration you can think of that. So you
Okay.
need a one Elastic Agent, and you are done, and you can have any integration of this. Whether you want to monitor your web server, Nginx, Apache, MySQL database, you name it, we got observability is there,
Okay.
right? Whether it's a cloud. So yeah, you need just Elastic Agent. And we got so these are the part of all integrations: Logstash, Beats, and Elastic
Elastic.
Agents.
And just a disclaimer, Beats, not the Beats by Dr. Dre. This is different Beat. And just kidding. So, since you mentioned Beats, we are going to go into Beats anyhow. So, how do Beats complement Logstash and Elasticsearch in data ingestion process?
Okay. Very nice question. So for pushing the logs into Elasticsearch, there is a multiple ways.
Hmm.
Okay. First is people just start reading from the Logstash and push into Elasticsearch. One. Second is people start reading logs by a file beat,
Okay.
and they push to the Logstash, and Logstash push to the Elasticsearch.
Okay.
Okay. Why such? Because Logstash is also maintaining the persistent queue.
Okay.
So it's to avoid the overhead to the Elasticsearch. So there is a middleware, the Logstash. You can do it. Okay. So now assume there is a 10 file bits. It's reading the 10 different logs.
Hmm.
They're pushing to the Logstash, and the Logstash push to the Elastic. This is what I have seen. How
Okay.
people are using. There's a one. The third is you can directly integrate pipelines like a Kafka.
Hmm.
You can directly inject the all logs, all elements from the Kafka to the Elasticsearch directly. So yeah. Uh, Also, if you want to read it from Logstash is there, and it's make the possibilities like to integrate the different technology. Let's say Redis,
Hmm.
MySQL, anything you want to read from it,
It's there.
So this is the third. The fourth is we got a connectors.
Hmm.
So like MongoDB connector. So if you have a use case to build a lake, data lakes,
Later.
so you need a connectors to pull the data, right?
Correct.
We got a connectors available. Let's say the you want to pull the workplace data where you want to collect the all work related data, let's say that from Atlassian, from Jira ticket,
Hmm.
from the GitHub, everything. You just integrate all the connectors, it will pull the all the data and push into Elasticsearch, and you can
Okay.
perform the all search like a ticket ID. Okay, what happened about this bug
Okay.
tracker and all those stuff.
So we have Jira connectors as well.
Yes.
Awesome. I think
So
that's good.
that concept called the workplace search,
Hmm.
yeah, you can just go and check that. So but yeah, we got a connector. We got a connectors for the LLMs
Hmm.
like the GPT, OpenAI,
Okay.
Azure OpenAI, like this. So yeah, we having that.
Nice. Nice. So again, since we have discussed about beats, uh, can you give an overview of different beats like file beat, metric beats, then we have packet beats and
Yeah.
others. So although you have already spent a little bit light on that, but a little bit of elaboration like what is the difference between them?
Okay, I mean, as name suggesting,
Hmm.
the packet bit is for the network collecting the network data, the
Okay.
TCP, UDP, all the packets and all those stuff traffics. Similarly, the file bit, if you, any file you want to read it, right? Whether it's a
Hmm.
JSON, whether it's just a single line, whether it's a uh, in a different format, like a common which is called common log format,
Hmm.
CLM, right? Where you want to read a syslog, Apache logs,
Hmm.
HTTPS. So Filebit have a capability to read all types of logs. It will read it, it will push to the Elasticsearch.
Okay.
And from the Kibana, you don't need to create a exclusive dashboard for the
For that.
different.
Hmm.
Your dashboard will be ready. Suppose you want to
Okay.
monitor the Nginx, you just enable the module Nginx. It will
Hmm.
start collecting the data from the Nginx logs,
Okay.
and your dashboard will be available, ready with you.
Available.
Yeah,
Okay.
just go and just check it out.
Okay.
So how many requests I'm getting, from which geolocation I'm getting, because it's
Okay.
collecting the IP,
Okay.
and we are enriching our data as well. So if you are dealing with the data platform, so
Hmm.
data enrichment is the one of the important segment.
Okay.
You are getting the raw data, but how you are enriching from them, what other information you can extract,
Okay.
right? So yeah, from the IP I can get a latitude, longitude, and I can plot on the
On.
map,
Hmm.
so I can get okay from this particular region, from this particular country, I'm getting a lot of hits.
Okay.
So yeah, this is how you can enrich. We got processors, different types of processors.
Okay.
Yes.
So at least visualization is another part where I think it plays a key role for
Yeah. So
people who are
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
go ahead. Yeah.
I think I missed out. We were talking about the beats. So yeah, the file bit is there, packet bit is there. The heartbeat is something you wanted to monitor some endpoint. Okay, suppose
Okay.
your API, whether it's
Hmm.
up or not. So in every you just integrate it, give the interval every 5 minutes. You should it will ping that particular URL, and it
Okay.
will give you the visibility. This is another thing,
Nice.
right? The uptime monitoring we call.
For the server.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
heartbeat.
I think the API one last meetup I saw that and it was really amazing
Yes, yes.
because that is something that I'm going to put into a use
So,
case.
I think when I was in my startup, the reason there was a need that we have to monitor our SMTP endpoint
Hmm.
at the particular port 252525 587.
Hmm.
That time we use that because you need something to monitor if
Monitor it.
your
Correct.
API is
Correct.
up or
Correct.
not.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good in that.
It's cool, really cool. And so moving on, what this is a very base question, and I think it is something that a very initial stage guy will wonder. So I have
Yeah.
added it. So what's the key difference between Elasticsearch and a traditional relational database?
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So I'm not a great fan of comparing things because I think every database having their own use cases, right? They
Hmm,
build for
correct.
the specific use case.
Hmm,
For example, Elasticsearch is good in a search. I mean, just taking the search perspective.
hmm,
So we don't recommend, I mean, I don't recommend to get a transactional data into Elasticsearch.
okay.
Okay, for that, there's a transactional DB,
DB,
right?
correct.
We have that RDBMS, correct? Which comes with the ACID property,
Hmm,
rollback, and all those stuff,
also.
which really required with the transactional data. But anything you require to search,
Hmm,
like a blob, like a catalog search, product
correct.
search, I recommend to put this only the search data into
Into
Elasticsearch.
Elastic.
So your all search query will go into hit the Elasticsearch, and all the transactional data will hit the RDBMS. So this is how
RDBMS.
you can design your
Hmm.
architect your
Correct.
systems, right?
Right.
Uh, yeah, I think.
So I, based on what you said, I can put it in a way that uh, any data which is whose destiny is an endpoint for say visualization or for a monitoring or for a search will go into Elastic in very simplest form I can say.
Yeah.
And the data which is having some kind of relation and is going to be used in that manner, transactional data as you said, that will go into that specific database, right?
Yes, you can see this way as well, and you can evaluate. Sometimes
Hmm.
people want to just run the heavy analytics.
Hmm.
Okay, you can benchmark. There are the more columnary databases available.
Correct.
They are very good into giving the analytics,
Hmm.
right? So you can benchmark. Give Elastic also give the very good set of aggregations. So you can choose what to pick, right?
Okay.
Data as a database technology.
Correct.
So similar, it goes with the search. The observability is one of the solution we have built over the top of the Elasticsearch,
Search. Hmm.
right? So observability is if you have any use case about the observability, see under the line everything is a search.
Search.
Whether you want to something search from the logs, it is
Hmm.
a search,
Search.
right?
Correct.
You want to correlate some events, it is a search, right? Where I can perform with some trace parent ID, especially in the APM use case.
Hmm.
If I have to correlate, okay, this event to this event and so on.
Hmm.
So it's just a query, search query.
Correct. Correct.
Correct. So underlying everything is a search. So which solved by Elasticsearch already. On the top of it, we got a solution, the observability, security, and search, enterprise search as well.
Hmm.
And observability is one of the parts, so you can use it.
Okay. Good. Okay. So since we are discussing so much of search, there is a question coming over you for search only. So what are some advanced search capabilities provided by Elastic, such as full text search and fuzzy text?
Yeah,
Fuzzy search.
I
Fuzzy
think
search. Sorry.
yes. I think the keyword-based term-based search is always there for the very longer time. We say the BM25 powered algorithm search.
Hmm.
So nowadays in Gen AI, right? So now semantic search we are talking about,
Correct.
right?
Hmm.
We create simply embeddings of a plain text data and we
Hmm.
store into Elasticsearch,
Hmm.
and we can perform the KNN query to get a semantic result,
Hmm.
right? So this is one, you can perform the vector search in Elasticsearch, right? Uh, we are we are trying to make the experience very easy.
Hmm.
So soon in 8.15, you can ingest the data as it is you are ingesting till now for the
Hmm.
keyword based search,
Okay.
and you can hit the same search query to get the semantic result.
Okay.
So it's going to give you, so we got the retrievers as well in the
Hmm.
8.14. So you can club two, three types of queries. Let's say I can have a semantic,
Hmm.
I can have a term based
Hmm.
query,
Okay.
and I can give my the boosting algorithm, whether it's a RRF or something like this, in one query, in one hit, it's going to give it a very crisp result, right?
I'm getting very curious to ask you what is underlying, but I won't ask you because that's a discussion topic for another time.
Yeah.
So, since there's a buzzword of Gen AI all over it, and I know that Elastic has implemented a really awesome Gen AI features in its lot of upcoming versions, and I think one of the is already released with Gen AI. Is
Yeah,
it?
we got a few features, yes.
Okay, in the current one, which is
Yes,
already
yes,
there.
yes.
Cool. So we are going to go in the questions of Gen AI and what generative AI capabilities have been integrated into Elasticsearch,
Hmm.
Elastic Stack.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So I think we already talked about the vector search, so
Yeah.
won't cover that. This is one of the integral
Hmm.
part of that. But if you heard of a RAG, right? RAG is a
Yeah.
pretty famous use case these days.
Yes.
We want to build a question answer capability over your private data, right?
Hmm.
Or you want to build a quick chat bot. Yes. So you can give a try to the Elasticsearch for the retrieval, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so we got a RAG playground these days. In 8.14 we released it. I mean, you just go and select your index where where you have inserted the data. Select your LLM module and you
Okay.
can start talking your data. It's
Oh,
like okay, whatever the data you have
correct.
presented, just ask anything
Ask it.
about it,
Okay.
right? So it will give you the answer from that. that data only. So yeah, the RAG, and of course it's a if it's a concept, so you can anytime you can club the Elasticsearch vector capability with your RAG system,
Hmm.
whether it's you are writing something in a LangChain, Llama index, Llama framework,
Framework.
Llama, and all those stuff. So yeah, we got integrations available, so you can build the RAG system with that. Um, Apart from this, so I think we were discussing about for the data platforms, right? So
Hmm.
when you're getting your data into the, in your platform, data enrichment is one of the important key. For example, if you want to, label your data, it's
Correct.
on fly, correct?
Hmm.
Let's say uh, India is the best place to for a food or something like this example. So India is a country, right?
Correct. Hmm.
And or probably I can say the Mumbai is the best place for a vada pav.
Hmm.
So Mumbai is a city and
Correct.
vada pav is a food or dish something.
Hmm.
So you can label your data on fly
On fly.
by adding the LLM in the Elastic, and
Hmm.
your data will pass through that LLM and it will generate the labeling on fly, and it
Okay.
will enrich your data and will push into Elasticsearch.
Hmm.
So this is one of the use case. Similarly, you want to mask your private data,
Hmm.
PII data, while hitting into Elasticsearch to maintain the lots of compliances.
Correct.
So yeah, you can use into that. That is a possible with the Elasticsearch. The one important thing is, vector search like so developer has to take care of generating embeddings, and then you insert embeddings into
Into.
Elasticsearch,
Correct. Hmm.
and then you can perform the semantic search. So, but this is not a part of the community edition, but I want to highlight it. You can get your embedding model into Elastic ecosystem,
Okay.
and it will you insert your data as you're inserting these days,
Hmm.
and it will pass through that particular
Embedding
LLM.
model. Hmm.
It will generate the embeddings on fly and push into the both the format, plain text as
Okay.
well as the embeddings, and you can
Okay.
perform the hybrid search.
Oh.
So if you're aware, like for the search, it is not just vector search enough.
Hmm.
It
Correct.
is only semantic search is not enough for that.
Hmm.
Or you can't rely just on a term-based search or keyword-based search. Uh, Combination of both of the queries very powerful. So
Powerful.
you can perform the hybrid search in a one hit, and some of the very good scoring algorithm like RRF, reciprocal rank fusion.
Hmm.
So it will re-rank your order, your result, right? So yeah, this capability we have. Uh, and Of course, we are trying to optimize on a vector side, vector space. Like we introduced the quantization, int 8 quantization, binary quantizations on a Lucene level,
Hmm.
and Elastic is one of the heavy contributor to the Lucene, right? Which is actually Elastic is built on a Lucene, right?
Okay.
Apache Lucene. So Apache Lucene is an open source,
Hmm.
right? It's an open source library. So yeah, we are continuously making good improvement and trying to innovate some in the Gen AI spaces, and we are creating like a feature like a observability AI assistant where you can talk like, okay, what was the last alert about it? Or how
Hmm.
was my memory consumption for the 5 days? In a chat window, you can talk it,
Okay.
and it will generate the graph there itself. Okay,
Oh.
this was the consumption. So if you are SRE or admin, just go and just talk
Type.
about it.
Hmm.
Yes, type it right. And if you got any error, let's say out of memory error, Java, there is a AI assistant. It will help you with the resolution there itself. So yeah, this is how we are powering the Elastic Stack with this a lot of Gen AI use cases. And yeah,
I would like to see that assistant someday,
yeah,
and hopefully, if the plan that we are doing for the hands-on, if that goes around,
of
I think
course,
we'll be able to do that.
sure.
But I think, yeah, other than community, the actual version, which is a paid version, has so much capabilities, and company is. If the company is, powerful enough to invest in such kind of product, then it's really good for them because it saves a lot of resources for the company, and paying for something like this might save them a lot of
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
in the long run, is what
Yes,
I can say.
yes, absolutely. I mean, I'll just take an example of embedding generation,
Hmm.
right? So as your data grow, as you're ingesting a lot of data, your embedding generation capability should also increase,
Correct.
right? So we got the auto scaling for that, right? As your data will grow, it will auto scale the machine learning node
Okay.
to generate the embeddings, and it can downscale as well,
As well. Hmm.
right? So of course you need, it's going to associate a cost for
Cost.
that
Correct.
because
Correct.
it's a
Yeah.
machine
Yeah.
learning, right? So yeah,
That works with our own embedding model as well, the auto scaling part.
yes,
Cool. Yeah. Okay. And since you mentioned RAGs, I think RAGs are the future, at least with what it looks like
yeah,
now. So everyone is trying to build RAG for some use case on top of the LLMs. May it be OpenAI's GPT. Llama is doing great job in, I
yeah,
think, creating more powerful models. I think Llama 4 is also coming up soon. That their training is what I have heard.
yes,
I'm
yes.
not up to date for that. 3 was good enough because I tried
Mm-hmm.
3 with a rag, and I think it was really great. For the basic, very basic use case, 3 is good for if they want to use it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think you have guys have integrated OpenAI as well as different Llama 3 also. I think you guys are
Yeah,
playing around
so
with.
so see, for the RAG, you
Hmm.
can connect your private LLM as well.
No, okay.
So I think I have we having a wonderful blog on a Search Labs
Hmm. Hmm.
how you can create a RAG using Gamma, and
Okay.
you deploy the Gamma model on your local, and you
Hmm.
can create a
Right.
chatbot for with
Okay.
that. So that is also possible.
But one thing I like about what is the memory consumption, that chatbot will help a lot of people
Yes.
because if he's a no tech guy, then he can do,
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about that. Just he's typing in and
Yes.
things like that. So it's cool actually. Yeah, we are almost at the end of the podcast.
Hmm.
And before the last question, I would like to tell everyone that all the links will be in the description. Just now, what Ashish has mentioned about the blog, I'll add that in the description. So make sure to check it out. And the final question is, since we are talking about Gen AI, down the line, how do you think that all the components of Elastic Stack will be integrated with Gen AI?
So, okay, I'll give you the glimpse. So we are improving our vector store capabilities.
Hmm.
So we have introduced the quantization, which helps to reduce your disk utilization. Similarly, we are introduce the AI system, right? We are making the experience to ingest the data very, very smooth, ingesting the data and hitting the semantic query, right? We got a ELSER, our proprietary model, so we generate the sparse vectors, and you can perform the vector search over it, semantic search. So yes, more innovations are going on from the Gen AI perspective to power the lot of other use cases.
Okay, nice. So we are done, Ashish. I think this was one of the most awesome podcasts because this was my first in-person podcast, and I
Mine
think
too.
so. A lot of information, and I think the hands-on part is going to make a blast. So, guys, we are going to come up with a hands-on video soon, very soon, because that's what I am very much interested in. I wanted to create a base for that. That's why we came up with the idea of in-person podcast. So yeah, I think it's what we have. All the links will be in the description. If you are new, check it out. Do subscribe to my channel and keep innovating, guys. Thank you, Ashish, again.
Thanks, Tejas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everyone for having me. Thank you.